Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Pipe Bomb Sessions. This week we saw a continuation of the King and the Queen of the Ring tournaments happen both on SmackDown and Raw, as well as, well, we found out who was next. For those of you who tuned into Monday Night Raw, you guys already know who I'm talking about and who indeed was next or deemed next. But don't worry, guys, we're going to touch base on everything, and let's get started. Honestly speaking, SmackDown and Raw both, I thought, were pretty intriguing this week. SmackDown had, John Cena open up, and we saw, basically, Cena then get jumped from behind after, let me tell you, not only Cody came out, you see LA Knight come out, and Randy Orton come out. Cena doesn't want to deal with any of them. He bounces, says, I'm out of here, peace out type of deal. And Truth jumps him from behind, or how we like to say, Ron Killings, right? Then we see later in the night, Cena comes out, he's looking for Ron, right? He's looking for Ron, he's like, where's this man at? Brings Punk out. Punk drops a great promo with Cena, telling him that, just because he picked Night of Champions, just because it's in Saudi, and, whatever Punk said in the past, however he felt, currently even feels maybe, he's putting all that aside because, they're doing this dance one more time, John Cena and CM Punk. What's interesting is that CM Punk's right. Roles are definitely reversed. CM Punk is playing the part of John Cena, and John Cena is clearly playing the part of CM Punk. I think it's very interesting. Punk says that he doesn't believe that Cena's going to walk out with the title just because he says it, but he knows, you can even say, that he is going to be the one that's going to bring Cena back, make Cena see the light, what's going to happen. I don't know. This matchup confuses me a little bit because are you really just going to do, the one and done deal just like you did with Orton at Backlash, right? Where, not a bad build, but that was it. One and done. We're not going to get another Cena versus Orton type of feud for this retirement tour. Is Punk's story supposed to end at Night of Champions in Saudi? I don't think Punk's going to win. Cena's going to find a way to cheat to keep that title. Trust me. Now, Cena said something else in his first promo, which was that Rollins will never cash in on Cena. Now, I don't know if he said that just because he was being a heel and threw it out there, but why would he call him out? Again, I feel like something's in the midst. Maybe Punk is on the verge of winning and Rollins costs Punk the title. Then Rollins takes it. But his group is not going to SmackDown. I just don't see them going to Friday nights. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe that is where the King and the Queen of the Ring tournament winners are supposed to be crowned. And then we get the opponents for SummerSlam. Unless the King of the Ring is going against the Raw champion, who's Gunther. And I think he is. But that's just my opinion right now. I don't know. I think it's a very interesting thing. Ron Killings jumped John Cena twice, which I thought was pretty dope. And interesting that they're throwing R-Truth as a serious and actual legitimate threat. R-Truth, who would have known this man was going to be in the middle of all of this during Cena's retirement tour. The fans brought him back and we got him in full Ron Killings mode. I like it personally. We are now, I don't know if you heard or not, but we are now seeing R-Truth versus John Cena next week on SmackDown. I think that's good. I like that. Yo, this man John Cena has wrestled more than a lot of other people that I've seen this year, so that's pretty impressive. Let me tell you that. Speaking of the King of the Ring tournament earlier, we saw that we had pretty much confirmation, I guess you want to say, because LA Knight now was attacked tonight in his qualifier match on SmackDown by Braun Breaker. You know, furthering the setup of LA Knight versus Seth Rollins for Night of Champions. Knight lost, Randy Orton won, and he advanced. He is now going to be seeing Sami Zayn in the next round. I like that. I like that personally. I thought it was pretty good. You know, just to switch gears to the women's side of the things, Jade ended up advancing in her side against her opponents in the Queen of the Ring qualifier. I believe that sets up the matchup with her versus Roxanne. And I think, yeah, I believe that is the matchup. And that's supposed to be, I think that would be a good one. I think that's going to be a pretty good one, actually. We saw someone who already has basically a cashed in freaking attempt in her hand at all times with Naomi coming out. Naomi's like, she's telling Tiffy, watch out. She can cash anytime, any place, anywhere type of deal. Don't, she ain't gonna see her coming. And I was a big person who wanted Naomi to win the briefcase in the first place because I thought she was going to win. She was going to win pretty quickly the title. Now, Tiffy time then get attacked by Nia Jax, which I'm like, dude, again with the Nia Jax? Like, I get it. We had that feud, but didn't we already do this? And didn't we do this a few times now? Like, I thought we were done with this situation. Let's move on. Let's get Tiffy a few more new opponents. How about that? I think that would be better and interesting. But let's see how that goes. The other person to qualify on the women's side for Queen of the Ring was our girl, Alexa. Alexa and Charlotte both had the match won. Charlotte had Alba Fire into her figure eight, and as she was about to tap, Alexa had hit Sister Abigail 1, 2, 3. On that 4 count, if it did exist, that's when Charlotte would have won. It's insane. Literally, what a finish. I thought that was a pretty interesting and cool finish that they did on SmackDown. And you see Charlotte and Alexa kind of just, Charlotte's just looking at her, staring down. Alexa is, in a sense, one-upping her again. Not personally attacking her, but just winning the matchups when needed. So it's interesting that they're showing this type of, I guess you want to say, downfall of Charlotte. I think it's going to actually continue for the next month. I think personally that Evolution 2 all women's pay-per-view is going to come up. When that comes up, that's when I have a feeling, at least, that's when Charlotte's going to completely lose it, because she's going to lose to another new up-and-comer, someone who I think is going to be a good opponent for Charlotte anyways, and people are looking forward to it, and that's Jade Cargill. In my opinion, this leading up to the Evolution 2, Jade versus Charlotte, you get one of the big premium marquee matchups out there, and let's get it out with a bang type of situation. Charlotte is on this losing streak, clearly. She's not listening to Alexa. Alexa's kind of saying, we gotta look out for each other, being the vets and stuff. Maybe slowly things are just creeping into Charlotte's mind, like, hey, is she right? Man, you never know. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out for them. Let's switch gears and go back into the men's side of the King of the Ring. What closed it out was our QB1, as they say, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, advanced, which now sets up a matchup with Cody Rhodes and who? We found that out on Monday Night Raw. What else happened on Monday Night Raw? Oof, man, a lot of things I think went down on Monday night. I don't even know where to start. So, since we are talking about the qualifying matches, let's get them first. Welcome back, the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Yo, honestly, was missing Asuka. She's a great wrestler. I love her character. She came out with her OG music as well as some crazy face paint. Welcome back, Asuka. She's advancing in the Queen of the Ring tournament. I didn't even think that this can now set up Asuka versus Io for SummerSlam if we do get Queen Asuka out of this. That's something that I'll be looking forward to, and I think that's a big matchup between the former partners. You never know, man. Like I think that's a good matchup. I'll put some of my money into that one for sure. Now, what else happened? I believe the last person to advance in the King of the Ring qualifier was our man, the fourth guy that we didn't know, who's a mystery until he lost his title, apparently, in Adam Pearce's words, because the loser was going in. That's Mr. Yeet, Jay Uso. A lot of things happen in this matchup now, right? So Jay had some backup with Sami Zayn coming out, because, of course, Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed come out to attack. You know, Jay's out there already. Bronson's freaking getting ass whooped. And out of nowhere, bang, LA Knight shows up. Again, I think Monday Night Raw, now that all members of Rollins' group are out of the tournament, you got the match costed by LA Knight. They cost LA Knight his match on SmackDown. Boom. We're definitely getting Rollins versus LA Knight at Night of Champions. I'm cool with it personally, as long as I'm hoping this actually leads to LA Knight not being stuck in some kind of mediocrity afterwards and just not knowing what we're doing and what direction we're throwing him in. Like, please don't do this again. I beg of you. And we see Rollins come out, and then we see Cody and Jey Uso have face to face. See, that's interesting. Who's gonna go to Saudi? I think it's gonna be Cody personally, who beats Jay here. And then we're gonna see possibly like Jay see like, hey, what are we gonna do next? I'm hearing the Usos are gonna get back together. I am not against that, man. Not against that at all. The Usos were phenomenal. They were great. I mean, both are fine. I know Jay's a little banged up from his matches last couple weeks, but he'll be fine, obviously. And well, Big Jim, he's healthy and good to go. So let's get something going here, man. Screw it. I like both the Usos, and the Raw Tag Team division needs some help. You know who needed some help this week? Sad to say, that was Liv Morgan. Her matchup against Kairi Sane got called early. As I'm watching, I see her shoulder dislocate. I thought it was an elbow at first, but later on in the night they announced that it was indeed a dislocated shoulder for Liv. Man, prayers of Liv. Hopefully she's good to go. We see her back soon. I hope she can make this SummerSlam event now that she got a dislocated shoulder. Hopefully she can make the SummerSlam event that's happening at freaking New Jersey, literally her home state. So let's see in the coming weeks what's the result of this and what comes out of that. Something that I did enjoy and which was interesting was that Bayley comes out, calls out Becky Lynch. I like it. And, they had some back and forth. Of course, this leads to Bayley, of course, Becky going for a cheap shot, missing. Bayley drops her. And Nick Aldis, who's filling in for Adam Pearce this week, lets Bayley know that next week on Raw for the women's IC title, it's Bayley versus Becky. I like that. That's a dope matchup for the women's IC championship that got made. I'm surprised it got made that early, but clearly I don't think it's going to be a clean finish, and Lyra's getting involved. Lyra's definitely getting involved, and as she let Bailey know backstage, like, yeah, if you do end up winning that title, you know what's gonna happen. She got a target on her back. Lyra's gonna come after her, type of deal. We know Lyra's not done with this story. I think it is gonna lead to a triple threat match. Now, speaking of the IC title, but the men's side IC title, a matchup that I predicted, ladies and gentlemen, many episodes ago, was AJ Styles versus Dirty Dom for his IC championship at Night of Champions. That's made official, and we are going to be seeing that occur. Another not bad matchup. I think it's going to be good. Do I see AJ taking it here? I'm not sure. Do I see more dissension happening with the Judgment Day? 150%. 150%. Balor's having a great time, a good laugh out of it. He now that Liv is going to be injured, they can really capitalize on this whole Judgment Day situation where you can have Dom double crossing her, maybe even Raquel doing it. Both of them. Balor has his big plan in place. Maybe this is how everything comes together. That's how it works. I could see that occurring, and it would make sense. Balor will get what's needed. I just want this whole damn thing to finally be over, if I'm being honest. Let's just get it over with. Let's have the turn happen, and let's move forward, please. That's all I'm waiting for and asking. And I'm not sure when and if it's going to happen at this point. I mean, well, obviously it's going to happen, but when is it going to happen? I don't even understand. Now, before we wrap up this week's episode, I would like to touch base on the man that I said who did let Gunther know that he was next. Indeed, he was next at the next Saturday night's main event pay-per-view, the main event for Gunther's World Heavyweight title. It's going to be Gunther versus the returning, yes, ladies and gentlemen, the rumors were true, Goldberg. Goldberg comes out, you can tell just the way he came out. Of course, he got a pop. Gunther's talking some smack. No one's going to beat him. He name dropped Goldberg. That's how you knew he was coming out there. When he name dropped him, of course, the rumors were out there and we were waiting. And I mean, I'm with one of my good friends. Let's just get this over with. If we need to run it, let's get it over with. What's interesting is that Triple H said he wanted Gunther to have the title so this could be a world title matchup. Hold up. We didn't need the world title to be on the line here at all for this matchup. So, does Goldberg actually have a chance? This is now getting me a little nervous, ladies and gentlemen. Does Goldberg legitimately have a chance? And if he does that mean Rollins is walking out of Saturday night's main event as the new World Heavyweight Champion? Because if Goldberg wins it, Rollins is definitely cashing in immediately to take it off of him. I could see it happen. It just makes sense to me. And maybe that's the way to have Gunther lose it again without making him look, I guess, weak. I don't know how I feel about Goldberg beating Gunther as it is, if I'm being honest. He shouldn't lose it. Gunther should still be a world champion afterwards. Let's see how the promos now go in the next couple of weeks. Oh, man, he did let him know he's next. We didn't see him spear him or any of that stuff, so that's interesting. We got definitely seeing that happen in the next couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, maybe they put on good promos, and hopefully he doesn't knock himself out. So, that's the best I got, man. Welcome back, Goldberg. Honestly, your music definitely does still give the hype, and the crowd did give a good pop for a return of Goldberg. Let me tell you that. Welcome back again, setting up the official matchup between him and Gunther. I'm not sure if I heard it was his retirement match. Maybe they throw it in there as like a stipulation type of thing, or possibly he just retires afterwards. But I did hear this is going to be his last matchup. Good luck to Goldberg. And honestly speaking, good luck to my man Gunther, our World Heavyweight Champ. Hopefully he does retain, ladies and gentlemen. But no promises. I've seen crazier things happen, especially when they involve Goldberg in WWE. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Thanks for tuning in this week as usual. Hopefully you guys enjoyed another great episode of Pipe Bomb Sessions. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll see you guys next week.